The day the pool turned to justice. The moment I saw Martha vault over the community pool gate in a glittering swimsuit, bolt cutters gleaming in one hand and a bottle of rose in the other, I knew our quiet suburb had plunged into a new kind of chaos. She didn't just break the rules, she flaunted them, slicing the padlock in front of her cheering guests and shouting, "Here's to summer, folks," as if she'd just unlocked paradise. I stood across the street, clutching my pool testing kit, watching 24 strangers flood the deck with coolers, Bluetooth speakers, and platters of artisanal cheese. Anger didn't cover it. I was floored. I'd warned the HOA about her before, but they dismissed it as a miscommunication. Now, as Martha twirled on the deck with a cocktail, I felt a spark of an idea, something slippery, colorful, and impossible to ignore. My name's Henry, a 52-year-old engineer who moved to Willow Creek Estates 2 months ago for its promise of calm. A gated community with a pristine pool, tennis courts, and rules to keep things civil. The pool caught my eye not just for swimming, but for its intricate filtration system and chemical balance, a marvel of precision. When the HOA needed volunteers to maintain it, I signed up, earning a key and the trust of neighbors. Most folks followed the rules: book the pool, sign the waiver, return the key. Simple. But Martha, who lived in a gaudy yellow house with a broken cherub fountain, saw rules as optional. Her car sported a bumper sticker: "I don't dial 911, I demand a manager." She wore oversized sunglasses indoors, made loud calls in the community garden, and threw wellness gatherings that were just boozy parties with no reservation. The first time I caught her hosting one, I gave her a chance. Maybe she didn't know the system. I approached politely, explained the booking process, and offered to help. She sipped her mimosa, smirked, and said, "Oh, Henry, we're just having fun. Lighten up." I reported it to the HOA, but got a generic email thanking me for my concern. The second time, she cut the lock and replaced it with her own. When I arrived to test the water, I had to climb the fence, only to face her guests treating me like an intruder. She laughed it off. "It's just a pool, Henry. Relax." I sent photos and timestamps to the HOA. They thanked me again. Nothing changed. That brings us to that Saturday, the breaking point. Martha didn't hide her plans. She blasted pop music, flung open the gate, and poured wine into plastic cups before her guests could sit. I tried reasoning with her one last time. "Martha, you didn't book this. You're breaking HOA rules and damaging property." She rolled her eyes. "Henry, it's water. Nobody owns water. I'll get a better lock, they'll thank me." When her friend snapped my photo, calling me that weird guy she warned us about, I knew words wouldn't work. Martha had spun herself as the hero, and I was the villain. I needed something bigger, something scientific. That night, in my garage, I stared at a jug of water-soluble polymer slime I'd made for a kid's science party. Safe, biodegradable, it was invisible in water but clung to fabric when heated, turning neon orange or blue based on pH. I tweaked the formula, adding a delay and vivid pigments. It would transform the pool into a lesson Martha couldn't ignore. I knew she'd hit the pool at noon the next day. Friday night, I disabled the chlorine for safety, poured in my mix after hours, and set a dummy lock to keep up appearances. By morning, I waited. At 12:15, Martha's voice rang out. "Cut it, Linda. We're not waiting for red tape." Her crew stormed in, drinks clinking. From my window, I watched. First, guests tugged at their swimsuits, confused by the texture. Then, colors bloomed, bright orange and blue streaking across their clothes. Martha screamed, her white cover-up now a tie-dye disaster. Guests panicked, some yelling about chemical attacks, others fleeing with purses in hand. I sipped my coffee, watching her empire of entitlement crumble. It wasn't just about the slime, it was about every neighbor who'd been pushed out of their pool time because Martha wanted her spotlight. The fallout was swift. Martha posted in the HOA's group chat, calling me a chemical terrorist and demanding an investigation. She claimed the pool was booby-trapped to harm her. Neighbors asked if she'd even booked the space. She dodged the question. I cleaned the pool that day, volunteering to restore its balance, and met with the HOA president, Tom, a no-nonsense retiree. I showed him footage of Martha cutting the lock and explained my slime. Non-toxic, fabric only, designed to make a point. Tom chuckled. Not exactly protocol, Henry, but she had it coming. He helped me scrub the tiles, ensuring no trace remained. Martha didn't stop. By Monday, she filed a complaint, accusing me of harassment and chemical warfare. She attached photos of ruined swimsuits, as if they were crime scene evidence. Tom called a meeting, and I brought a USB drive, video of the lock cutting, the party, and my slime's chemical breakdown. Martha sat with a thick folder, pointing at me. He's unhinged. But when the footage played her laughing, her guests jumping in, then scrambling out in neon chaos, the room went quiet. A board member stifled a laugh. Tom asked, "Martha, did you book the pool?" She stammered about a down system and a cousin on the board who'd left months ago. The board voted. Martha was banned from amenities for 3 months, with fines for further violations. She stormed out, yelling about conspiracies. You'd think that would end it, but Martha doubled down. She printed glossy flyers, depicting me as a mad scientist with a toxic pool. "Is your HOA run by a bully?" they read, urging a peaceful poolside protest. She knocked on doors, gifted cookies, and spun tales of victimhood to new residents. One neighbor asked me, "Are you experimenting with illegal chemicals?" I set her straight, but Martha's drama was gaining traction. That Saturday, she set up her protest: a table, lemonade, signs, and a karaoke machine blaring Sweet Caroline. Her crew wore Justice for All shirts, chanting "End HOA Tyranny." It was absurd until she chained the gate with her lock and hung a banner, "Closed by public demand." That crossed a line. Tom called the sheriff. A deputy arrived, listened to Martha's rant about slime trauma, then asked if she had permission to lock the HOA property. "Not yet," she admitted. He cut the chain, and her protest fizzled. Her friends slunk away, leaving her alone with her karaoke machine, playing "My Heart Will Go On." The HOA fined her $500 and warned that one more violation would strip her privileges for a year. Martha tried one last stunt, an unapproved Healing Waters social at the pool. Residents mocked her email invite, "Do we bring our slime?" And Tom stationed 2 off-duty officers at the gate. When Martha arrived, she saw the locked gate and a sign, "Closed for unauthorized activity." An officer warned her about trespassing. She smiled tightly, muttered about fear of healing, and left. Her final move, filing a city complaint about chemical dumping, backfired when an inspector praised the pool's pristine condition. The neighborhood changed after that. Signs sprouted in yards. "Rules keep us free." A survey revealed years of Martha's bullying, yelling at kids, shaming seniors, and threatening pets. The HOA added a rule: 3 violations in 6 months meant suspended privileges. Martha had 2 strikes. Teens nicknamed her Slime Duchess, and someone made stickers of her Flyers cartoon pool. Neighbors thanked me with cards and cookies, calling me Pool Guardian. It felt strange, but good. Weeks later, I saw Martha walking her dog. She paused as I cleaned the pool filters. "Ever regret it, Henry?" she asked. I looked up. "No. It made people listen when you wouldn't." She nodded, not sorry, but aware something had shifted. She moved away that fall, her yellow house now quiet. The pool sparkled all summer. Families swam, kids splashed, and music stayed low. Willow Creek wasn't just a community again, it was a team, united by a day when slime taught what rules couldn't. Respect matters, and no one's above it. What do you think about Henry's actions? Was his slime prank justice or vengeance? Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially on how we handle bullies and unfairness in our own lives. Let's hear your stance.